Okay, let's talk about a number that's sending a shiver down the spine of the professional world: 45. And no, not as in a midlife crisis, but as the potential, very real end of your career. So let's get right into it. Just think about that for a second. What if your career has an expiration date and it's way, way sooner than you ever imagined? It's a pretty jarring thought, right? But it's a question we absolutely have to start asking ourselves. So why 45? Well, this whole conversation kicked off recently when a major bank started offering early retirement packages to employees as young as 45 years old. This isn't some far-off futuristic scenario. It's happening right now, and honestly, it's a massive wake-up call for all of us. But look, this isn't just about one company's policy. It's really a symptom of a much, much bigger shift. You've got AI and new technologies that can do complex jobs cheaper, faster, and more efficiently. And that puts experienced, higher-paid professionals in a pretty vulnerable spot. The old playbook for having a long career, it's basically being torn up and rewritten as we speak. And this is where we hit this massive paradox. Doesn't it feel that way? Because of modern medicine, living to 80 or 90 is becoming the norm. But what if our ability to earn a good living gets cut short at 45? You could be looking at a 35-year gap with a little or no income. I mean, how on earth do you even begin to prepare for that? So what do? It's really easy to feel overwhelmed and just panic. But the answer doesn't start with a frantic to-do list. Nope. It starts by building a really solid internal foundation. And you do that by asking yourself 3 incredibly powerful questions. These 3 questions, this is your new starting point. The first one helps you figure out what really matters to you, your non-negotiables. The second one? This one is huge. It forces you to peel back the layers and separate what you actually need from what society tells you to want. And that third one? Well, that's all about taking back control. Are you just a passenger along for the ride, or are you the one behind the wheel? Let me give you a great example of what I mean by essence. Think about a watch. On one hand, it can be a flashy status symbol, a luxury brand that costs a fortune, or it can just be a tool that tells you the time. When you strip away all the marketing, all the social pressure, you get down to what you actually need. Getting this one concept right is a total game changer for your financial freedom. All right, so with that foundation in place, the very first place we have to start building is our inner world. This is all about crafting the mental and emotional toolkit you're gonna need to handle, well, whatever life throws at you. Just think of these as the essential tools in your personal survival kit. Your values? That's your compass, always pointing you in the right direction. A growth mindset is your engine, turning every setback into fuel. Flexibility is like your suspension system. It lets you pivot and navigate the rough patches without falling apart. And your purpose? That's your true destination, something so much bigger than just a job title. I absolutely love this idea. It's not about just bouncing back from tough times, it's about bouncing forward. Every single obstacle, every disruption is actually a chance to level up and become a more capable, more resilient version of yourself. Okay, so once your inner world is solid, it's time to get to work on your outer world. This is where you stop just reacting and start proactively shaping your environment to create real security and open up new doors. Let's be real. Lifelong learning isn't just a nice idea anymore. It's a survival skill. And you know that feeling of anxiety? The best antidote is to take action, even small steps, like starting a little side project. Your community, your network, that's your safety net, both for your career and your sanity. And finally, remember, you're not in this alone. Pushing for bigger systemic changes, like better protections for workers, helps lift everyone up. But here's the thing. None of these principles, the inner work, the outer actions, none of it matters if your foundation is shaky. And that whole foundation is really built on 2 essential pillars. It's really that simple and that crucial. Your money and your health. Without a solid plan for both of those, even the most positive mindset in the world can just crumble under pressure. When it comes to your finances, this is probably one of the most powerful habits you can ever build. Before you pay a single bill, before you even think about buying groceries, you pay your future self. Set it up to happen automatically. Make saving the very first thing you do with your paycheck, not the last. And a huge part of that saving strategy is your emergency fund. This isn't just money sitting in an account. It's breathing room. It is the freedom to make clear, smart decisions instead of panicked ones if your career suddenly takes a sharp turn. So, as we start to wrap this up, everything we've talked about really boils down to one fundamental choice. The world is going to keep changing, technology will keep advancing, economies will shift. You can't control any of that, but what you can control is how you respond. And this is the choice, right here, laid bare. Are you going to be the passive victim, the person who says, well, that's just how things are, there's nothing I can do? Or are you going to be the proactive architect, the person who takes responsibility, asks, what can I control, and starts building the future they want, one brick at a time? The world is not going to stop changing. It's not going to slow down. So the only real question left to ask is this one. In the face of this new reality, who are you going to choose to become?